You know, in the world of faith, some stories aren't just stories. They're more like sacred chronicles, passed down through generations. They're these incredible tales of masters, of kings, and even miracles. And sometimes they all come together in a single sacred object. Today, we're going to dive deep into one of those legends, the story of Phra Wat Phlab.
And our legend really kicks off with this incredible quote. The great master Somdej Phra Sangkharaj Suk was asked about his most famous student, Somdej Phra Putachan To, a legend in his own right. And his reply was simply, "He comes to translate books for me, he does not come to study books with me." Just think about that for a second. His wisdom was so vast that even his most brilliant disciple was there to help decipher knowledge, not just to learn it. This gives you a sense of the master whose story we're about to tell.
So let's start with the man himself. He was the fourth Supreme Patriarch of the Rattanakosin Era, an almost mythical figure. But he was also known by another name, a name that came from a miraculous power that just seemed to defy the natural world. This statue you see honors a man whose spiritual power was just legendary. They called him the Wild Chicken Patriarch. Why? Well, because it was said his loving kindness, his metta, was so powerful, so immense, that he could actually summon wild jungle fowls straight from the forest. Now, these aren't your average farm chickens. These are fierce, untamable birds, yet they would flock to him and eat gently right from his hand. This wasn't some kind of trick. It was seen as a pure manifestation of a spirit so enlightened it could bring peace to the wild.
Now, a spiritual power like that, it doesn't go unnoticed. His wisdom became a guiding light, not just for everyday people, but for the very heart of the kingdom, for the monarchy itself. And this wasn't some casual relationship, not at all. He was the trusted meditation master and preceptor to three successive kings of the Chakri dynasty. King Rama II and King Rama IV both studied Vipassanā meditation directly under him, and King Rama III was actually ordained as a monk by him. So you see, his story isn't just about faith, it's woven right into the grand history of the entire Thai nation.
But beyond all the legends and his incredible teachings, Somdej Phra Sangkharaj Suk left behind a physical legacy. He created an artifact that would become the very starting point, the progenitor of an entire sacred tradition. This is a huge deal. He is revered as the creator of the very first rectangular powdered amulets in the kingdom. What does that mean? It means Phra Wat Phlab isn't just another old amulet. It is the ancestor. It's the blueprint from which so many other famous and revered amulet lineages would eventually be born.
And the holiness of these amulets, well, it all starts with how they were made. These weren't just pressed clay. Oh no. This was a symphony of sacred ingredients, burnt seashell lime, special tongyu oil, pollens from holy flowers, and, most importantly, they were infused with 5 legendary consecrated powders. Each of these powders, from Ithijay for charm to Maharaj for authority, was the result of intense, painstaking rituals and chanting, transforming simple materials into a vessel of immense spiritual energy.
So, these sacred treasures were created, and then, for centuries, they were hidden away, their story almost fading into memory. But their rediscovery wasn't some planned archaeological dig. It was a moment of pure, unexpected magic, led by a very, very unusual guide. As the legend goes, one day, this beautiful, almost ethereal white squirrel just appeared at Wat Phlab. Everyone, monks, villagers, you name it, was totally captivated by it, and they started to follow it. The squirrel, quick as a flash, darted into this little hole at the base of an old stupa. And when the people went to look inside, they were met with a sight that was just unbelievable. A stream of these sacred amulets was literally pouring out from the darkness. And because of that, this amazing discovery was forever linked to that moment of magic. The cache wasn't named after a person, but after the miraculous creature that led them to it. It would always be known as the White Squirrel Cache. Okay, so after sleeping inside the earth for over a century, the amulets that came out obviously had the marks of their long rest. But here's the thing. To an expert, these aren't flaws or imperfections. They're sacred signatures, written by time itself.
This is where you learn to speak a whole new language. What a beginner might just see as cracks, a connoisseur calls eggshell crazing. This beautiful, delicate web that proves it dried naturally over decades. What looks like stains becomes a tofu skin patina, a hollowed, creamy film that simply cannot be faked. And those little mineral deposits, those are revered as calcite growths, like sacred flowers that have bloomed on the amulet's surface over time.
And this quote from a modern master just nails it perfectly. The whole idea is to see its natural essence. And the true beauty is this amazing paradox. From far away, it looks ancient and dry. But when you get up close, you can see this incredible moist sheen. That's the natural oils and sacred ingredients coming to the surface over hundreds of years. It's living proof of its sacred history. So, when you put it all together, the man, the miracle, the marks of time, what you have is something more than just an old object. It becomes a real, tangible link to this incredible heritage, the very root of a legendary lineage of faith.
And this brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? With the master and his student. On the left, you have Somdet Suk, the originator, and on the right, his star pupil, Somdet To. This wasn't just a teacher-student relationship. This was a direct passing of the torch, a transmission of sacred knowledge and the science of consecration from one absolute legend to the next.
And this, right here, is the key. Phra Wat Phlab is the direct ancestor of Phra Somdet Wat Rakong, probably the most famous and sought-after amulet in all of Thailand. The rectangular shape, the sacred powders, the entire method, it all started right here. Phra Wat Phlab isn't just a part of the story, it's the very first chapter.
So, all of this leaves us with a final question to ponder. In a world that so often measures value by a price tag, the story of Phra Wat Phlab asks us to think a little differently. Is the true worth of an object found in its market price? Or is it found in the weight of the faith, the miracles, and that unbroken chain of reverence it has carried with it through time?